To make it a little easier, I've given some steps that you can follow. Okay? Steps to follow to solve triangular questions or trigonometric questions, which means trigonometry, triangular geometry. So here's what you do first. First, the very first step, label the sides. Second step, pick the ratio. So pick one of those ratios. Third, fill in all the information. Fourth, calculate the trig ratio. This is optional. So you can either do this later. Okay, I'll show you both ways. I'll show the method 1 and method 2 like above for these as well. And then you cross multiply. And finally, you divide if only if necessary. So on the very first one, so we'll go to the first one. I will do it like both methods like before, method 1, method 2, and you can pick the one you like, or you can always fast forward the video if you have already picked the method. Step 1, so here we're going to look at this triangle here. Step 1, so step 1, label all the sides. So here we go. I'm going to use my purple marker here, purple pen, to label. So first, label across from the 90, across here. That one right there, across from the 90, that's the hypotenuse, always the longest side as well. Okay, across from the angle. So there's the angle, 61. So across from that angle, okay, right across from it. Okay, here we got the opposite. Beside the angle, so right beside it here. Okay, this one here is known as the adjacent. So we got the x is the adjacent. Now I go and circle. So is there anything with the opposite? So I'm going to circle here. Nothing with there. Oh, but there's something with the hypotenuse. And there's something with the adjacent. But there's nothing here. So I have to use adjacent and hypotenuse. So then on the side of my page, I have to find the one that has adjacent and hypotenuse. So I go over here. Okay, adjacent hypotenuse, opposite hypotenuse. No, adjacent hypotenuse. There it is. I have to use cos. Opposite, no. This is the one I have to use because it has the two sides that I circled on the other page that I have information. So I write cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So right here, I write cosine theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. That was, let's see what step we're on. So we labeled the sides. We picked now the correct ratio. Fill in the information. Let's fill in. Theta, our angle, 61 degrees. Cosine of 61 is adjacent. So let's see what the adjacent is. So x over hypotenuse. So x over 23. X over 23. We filled in. Now we either do method 1 or method 2 here. So as we did before, this looks exactly like the question way up there. So either you're going to do method 1 or method 2 like we did earlier. So I will do my favorite. I'll do method 1 where I cross multiply. I put this over 1 and then I cross multiply here. So I get x equaling to 23 cosine of 61. And then I go to my calculator. So I go to this calculator here. And I put 23 cosine of 61. And I get 11.15. So it's like 11.2 rounded to one decimal. So x is 11.2. And our units, so don't forget units, centimeters. Now, method 2, that other method. So you pick the method you like. So method 1 is this. After you filled in the information, method 2, right away, you figure out what cosine of 61 is. So if you like the other method here, you put cosine of 61. So you put cos, so you put 61 cos, for those of you that prefer this. So 0.4848. 0.4848. So you put 0.4848 is x over 23. So this is method 2 here. You put this over 1, and then you cross multiply, so you get x is 23 times 0.4348. So you go 23 times 0.4848. 0.48, and you get 11.2 as well. 11.15, you get 11.2 cms. Again, you can either pick the one method or the other method. Okay, so the next question I'm going to do this method, and the last question this method. You can always jump ahead, okay? Jump ahead and pause it. So now I'm going to do the middle question. I'm going to use this method all the way down, and the next one will use that method, so I can show you both. So here we go. This triangle now. Let's label all the sides. So I will pick the purple, now maybe the blue, across from the 90 down here, right across from the 90, that's 17 feet. That's our hypotenuse. Hip. Across, there's the angle, not the 90, you already took it. There's the angle, across from that angle, over here, the Z, this one right here, that's our opposite. OPP, I like that short form. And beside that angle, this length right here is our adjacent. So first you have to know how to label the sides. So I've labeled the sides, then I go to my purple marker here, and oh, I have something with this one, so I have something with that one. I have something with that one. I have opposite hypotenuse. I go to my three ratios here. Opposite hypotenuse. Oh, the first one. But the first one has the opposite and it has the hypotenuse. None of the other ones do, so I have to use sine. So over here I write sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Now my angle is here, it's 23. So sine of 23, opposite. So the opposite side is Z. We don't know what it is. Z over 17 feet. So we put Z over 17. And then I'm going to cross multiply. I'll put it over 1. When I cross multiply, so that times that. This times this, I put the 17 in the front. But I'll cross multiply this way first and then that way. So Z, 1 times Z is Z equals 17 sine of 23. And then I go to my calculator. Put it on here. 17 sine. So there's my sine button, 23. And I get 6.6. So I'll round it to one decimal. So Z is 6.6 feet. Okay, FT, so feet. Don't forget the units at the end. Next question. We can do the last one here at the very end. We can move this over a little bit so we can look at it. And label all the sides. Use a different pen color for each side here. So the blue, go across from the 90, across here. That's the hypotenuse. Across from the angle. I have a nice yellow. Opposite. OPP. Okay. And the last one beside the angle. So beside this angle here, this one here is the adjacent. We circle the ones we are going to use. We're going to use this one because there's a number, and this one because there's a letter. And we're not going to use the hypotenuse because there's nothing there. So we got a y here, and then we got a 21 with the adjacent, and we have an angle. Then we go to our ratios. We want to find the one that has opposite and adjacent. Opposite hypotenuse, not sine. Nope. Adjacent hypotenuse. Nope. There it is. We're going to use tan because that's opposite over adjacent. So we go back to the question. So tan of theta is opposite over adjacent. Okay, that theta, tan of 35. Opposite is y. We don't know what it is. Over adjacent is 21. So over 21. In this case, I'll do it the other way where I find the answer out. If you want, you can put 21 tan right away. I'm going to find the answer out here, so I'm going to put tan 35. So in this calculator, you put 35 tan, and you get a number 0.7002. Decimal 0.7002. 0.7002 equals y over 21. You put this over 1, and then you cross multiply. So y equals, so that was just a cross multiply, y equals 21 times 0.7002. Then we go back to our calculator. 21 times 0.7002, and you get 14.7. So y equals 14.7. We need some units. Let's see what the units are. We'll scroll up. Meters this time. Meters. And if you want, you can box your answer at the end to make it look a little bit nicer. Put a nice box around it. The last video will show you some other types where the x is now on the bottom. So we'll leave the last video for the last three.